All right, so we are live following a 10-3 Toronto Blue Jays loss in Game 2 of the American League Championship Series. It's the second straight Jays loss at home, and they fall down 2-0 to the Seattle Mariners. Mac, they've dug themselves a hole. How are we feeling?
I mean, you don't want to sound alarmist or anything, but not great, right? Like that's yesterday, not a great game either, but today we thoroughly got beat. So Seattle was clearly the best team this weekend. They've got a rightful 2-0 series lead, and we got to find a way here to get right in Seattle. Got to win 2 or 3 there. Lots to talk about, I think, on both sides of the ball where things just need to be better to beat Seattle in this series.
Yeah, I think you're 100% right, and both sides of the ball is the best way to put it. I don't think the Jays really held a candle to what the Mariners were doing today, even from the outside of the game, right? Like 3-run homer before Savage was able to record an out. And we can have the umpire conversation if you want, but like in a game you lose 10-3, I think there's not much space for that anyways. And you mentioned not wanting to press the alarm, and I'm sure, press the panic button kind of thing. And I'm sure John Schneider's going to talk after this game and echo that. But I'm ready to press the panic button because Ben Nicholson-Smith on Twitter tweeted this morning that teams that take a 2-0 lead in best-of-7 series have gone on to win the series 78 of 93 times, which is about 84%. So is that it for you, or are we clinging on to being one of those 16% chance teams?
I mean, I first thing I thought of, and this is the optimistic in me, but 2015 down 2-0, went into Arlington, won 2 big road games there pretty convincingly. I think just got to find a way to win 2 or 3, but bring that series back home to Toronto. Who knows what the series looks like in Game 6? So backs are up against the wall. They've put themselves in a hole. I don't feel confident with the way they played, the way the pitching's been. It's got to improve. It's got to be better because Seattle's taken advantage of their opportunities, scoring runs and pitching really well. Like the Jays bats haven't been good, but Seattle has pitched well. They were kind of in the same spot today with their bullpen where they needed a lot of outs to close this game out, and they didn't have the problems Toronto did with that.
Yeah, and that was like I think that was the most disappointing thing for me too is George Kirby uh, just didn't have it today. Or not George Kirby.
Gilbert.
Gilbert, yeah. Sorry. Gilbert, sorry. I'm already thinking ahead. I've already moved on to game three. Gilbert just did not have it today. His slider was brutal and he like completely went away from it. He was throwing the splitter to righties, which is what he normally throws to the lefties. And we saw George Springer do some damage on that pitch to start the game with that leadoff double. And it was clear he didn't have it. He only got through 3. And then the bullpen kind of came in and that was like lights out for the Jays, right? Like the offense just completely disappeared, right?
Yeah, and 2 things with that is, I mean, I think when Brock just kind of asked here on the chat, like, where did the offense go? It really felt kind of like when Little came in and gave up that run yesterday, like that Varland 3-run home run just kind of took the momentum right out of this game for Toronto. But the offense, they didn't find a way yesterday to answer, and they didn't find a way again when that game's 3-3. That early in the game, okay, this offense needs to find a way to get runs. They didn't have many opportunities tonight. The few chances they had, they squandered. I don't know. Like, we talked a lot about their approach yesterday. I didn't find it a whole lot better today. Pitch counts were a little higher, but it seemed more just a product of fouling some pitches off early in the at bat. Still seemed like there was a lot of swings at pitches early in the counts that just maybe take one. Um, yeah, I don't know. I didn't feel like the offensive game plan, if we were going to be critical of it yesterday, was any better today.
Yeah, and as Christopher just said in the chat here, it's really hard to string together walks and singles. And we saw the Mariners burn the Jays with the homer 3 times tonight. The Jays are being out homered 4-1 in the series. When the Mariners are hitting homers, they're doing it in big ways, like 2 3-run homers and a 2-run homer today alone is like it's really hard to beat that. And it'd be nice if the Jays flash a little bit of that power as well. And I think it's just like the offense all around. Like there were like of the 12 hardest hit balls today, the Mariners had 8 of them. Like that's 2/3. Like they're just doing a lot more damage than the Jays are, which is really frustrating to watch. It's kind of a pathetic offensive performance, honestly, through 18 innings of the series.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to get the job done, right? They got to go to Seattle and find a way to get runs on the board, score runs when they need them at points in the ball game, whether that's keeping a lead if they get out in front again early, or today, like just you got to fight back in the ball game. And um, yeah, it's just not good enough. It's kind of hard to talk about what needs to be done differently because it's just nowhere close to where it needs to be right now. So they got to find a way to get some runs because not as confident with their pitching matchups in Seattle as I was with these first two games. But that side of the ball is going to have to be better too. I think this series going to kind of come down to what Bieber and Scherzer, if that's what the plan is for 3 and 4. You're going to need them to step up and give you a playoff performance if you want to win.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't think the series is over by any means. Like you got to start with one game. Um, and I think Shane Bieber isn't a bad option to have on the mound. He's going to have to look better than he did in Yankee Stadium in Game 3 against the Yankees. But I think it's far from over. I think there's definitely a shot. Like, you just give yourself a shot in Game 3 and see where you go from there. Before we put this game to bed, because we do have to talk about it. We talked a
Yeah,
lot about
no, yeah.
yeah. So we talked a lot yesterday about the early hook on Kevin Gosman, and you and I kind of agreed that we didn't really love how early he got hooked, even though that's kind of like the trend in the playoffs. Um, was the Trey Savage hook in the fourth inning too early for you today?
I was fine with it today. After that first inning, I'm kind of thinking if we can get 4 from Trey, then that's going to be a good night. So I like that they gave him the shot to go out there for the fifth, put a couple guys on early. I don't have a problem with the hook. Probably again, we can debate who should have come into the game. If there's an issue with Varlin there, I'm not sure. I was okay with it. I think taking him out of the game was fine. Having said that, it did occur to me as soon as he came out of that game, now we need 15 outs from this bullpen in a tie game. And, they didn't get the job done tonight either, regardless what the offense did. But how were you feeling with taking Trey out in that spot?
Honestly, so it was third time through to start the fifth inning, and I probably would have had Varland in to start the inning. And Varland is probably the guy I would have gone to unless you want Sir Anthony Dominguez in that spot, but obviously you burn him for later in the game and possibly an even higher leverage spot. I think as soon as Savage gave up and there was they called it a single and an error on Jimenez, that ground ball up the middle. But I think I honestly would have liked to see Varland with a fresh inning and start the inning. Obviously, he's got to pitch better. You can't give up 3-run homers in the playoffs. Like, it's just a disaster. And that was like, it felt like a dagger in the fifth inning. Like, that what felt like the end of the game. I think to the crowd, like it took the crowd completely out of it. Kind of took everyone like I was watching with completely out of it. It was a dagger of a swing. And do we have to have a Louis Varland conversation?
Yeah, like I seen a comment somewhere on the internet today, might have been on our message board. I'm not sure. Apologies to the commenter because I don't remember their username, but it's like Schneider manages that like he has the best bullpen in the world. And it kind of seems like he's putting guys in spots where he thinks they're better than what their performance is giving. And even Little yesterday, like we talked about, he's got one of the highest, if not the highest whiff rate out of the bullpen in the league. Varlin, I mean, we've seen the stuff since he's come over from Minnesota. I think we all like Louis Varlin. We like the idea of him being good, but right now, results aren't good. I wasn't overly surprised with what happened today when he comes in with the inherited runners. And to your point, it is a good point. Maybe you need to give your relievers an opportunity with a clean inning there, bringing Varland in with a fresh fifth. Maybe that inning does go better. I just like the idea of leaving Yasevich out there, giving him an opportunity to get through one more inning just because of what we've seen happen with the bullpen. My confidence with them is just not very high this playoff. So looking at how things did play out, you're probably right. Going to Varland, fresh arm, if you were going to be that quick and removing him in the fifth, probably would have been the right play.
Yeah. And that comment about John Schneider managing like he has the best bullpen in the world is kind of funny. It's obviously in jest a little bit there, but
Yeah.
it is kind of funny. And honestly, I don't blame him because what else are you supposed to do? Like he's in a tough spot. He's got this arm that the front office went out, targeted, traded for. He's got a ton of control left on him. Like he was not a guy that anybody thought was going to get traded. Like Minnesota Twins fans, like if you ask them about how they felt about the Louis Varland trade when it came down, they were like livid. They were very upset to let him go. They did not want to let him go. And rightfully so, because in 49 innings with the Twins this season, he only gave up 3 homers. Now in 28 and 2/3 innings with the Jays this year, he's given up 5. So I don't know what happened. I don't know if he's not comfortable. Like he's got 98 to 100 every time he's throwing the fastball, and he's getting touched up. Like Jorge Polanco pulled a fastball in the outside half and hit it over the right center field fence. Like I genuinely don't know how to fix Louis Varland. Like you look at his Savant page and you're like your eyes light up. Like and he's just getting touched up. He's giving up lasers all over the park, and I don't know why. And that's I think the most frustrating part for me. And that's the thing. Like you can't blame John Schneider for bringing him in because who else is there to bring in that spot, right?
Everyone's kind of got a bit of that stink on them in the bullpen right now. Maybe that's too strong of a word, but they're not pitching where their peak needs to be in the playoffs. This going down 2-0 to Seattle, if that's not reason to be down enough, it's who's going to pitch. Like you got to win 2 of these next 3 games. How are you going to get that? And that's why I'm going back and trying to skip past this game. But why I'm kind of putting some importance on the starts of Bieber and Scherzer is bullpen in these 2 games today and yesterday. I just don't have any confidence in them getting outs if these games are close that they need to win.
Yeah. So other than the obvious, they need to pitch better. Like, what do you need to see from the bullpen to feel better about them? Like, do you just need to see your starters get deeper and like straight to Sir Anthony and Hoffman?
I think that's the easiest way to the problem. Just gotta just rely on your starters here. And Bieber, this is a guy you traded for at the deadline to make this start, much as you signed Max to make this start in the playoffs. So just give him a bit of leash. Like if there's a situation that comes up like Gosman last night, I think we need to let the starter try to pitch through that because there's nobody in that bullpen right now that I feel comfortable in those high leverage outs coming in with runners on base. And that's just kind of the way it is right now. This team looked good in August with what they had with pitching, but right now it just doesn't seem like they have enough or the arms to compete. So yeah, hopefully the starters can go a little deeper into the game. If not, Schneider just got to keep trying however he wants, and hopefully the guys just pitch better. I said that about Little yesterday. He's got to come in and just pitch better. Guys today, they just got to come in and do a better job.
Yeah, and I think that's the biggest contrast between these 2 teams. We could talk about the offenses, but the Mariners offense really teed off in the Blue Jays bullpen in both of these games. The Jays bullpen today, 2 1/3 innings pitched and 5 runs before Bassett and Lauer came in garbage time there, right? So we can kind of not throw it away. Like obviously it still counts on the stat sheet, but that is just not good enough. Like they really didn't give the Jays a chance to stay in the game.
And I never felt good when anybody came into the game, really, outside Fluharty. I've been kind of a Fluharty guy through the playoffs, through the season. He's pitched in some good spots. But guys come in, like one thing you said, like, what can they do better? Like, it seems like we're falling behind in a lot of counts early. Coming in, high velo, missing. Now we're down 2-0. Yeah, great comment, timely comment there of Christopher. Like, need to be more competitive around the edge of the zone. What that is when Doug Eddings is behind the dish, who knows, as we've seen today. But and not complaining, I think Seattle maybe had some worse calls go their way. But
Oh, yeah.
um, but great point, Christopher. Like, yeah, guys need to be a little more uh, just better with their command and falling behind in counts. Haven't looked into the stats or anything. That was just kind of my take on watching it. Is you're falling behind, you're putting yourself in tough positions, and Seattle took advantage of it with base runners and scoring those base runners today.
Yeah, and that's the thing that's an awesome point. Like that's exactly where I was going to go with that too is like when you fall behind in the count, you're behind 1-0, 2-0, 3-1, 2-1. Like these are hitters counts and hitters get their ace swings off, like big league hitters and like especially the lineup that the Mariners have, like a very powerful lineup. Sorry, we're losing my voice a little bit here. A very powerful lineup like that, they when they get their ace swing off, they hit the ball really hard, and we saw that with the batted ball data. When Jays are behind in the count or pitchers are behind in the count, hitters get to tee off, and the Mariners did it today.
Yeah, they did. And, that's another part to this today and yesterday. Seattle playing really well. They're taking advantage of their opportunities. They're getting hits off Toronto pitching. They're pitching very well. They're just the better baseball team right now. So it's disappointing being in the seat we are as Jays fans, but, just got to play better in Seattle. And I don't think these games have been unwinnable. I don't think Seattle's scared me to the point where Toronto brings their A game on the road. These are winnable games. They just got to find a way to win those games. They've been doing it all year, and that's where I'm just trying to remain a little optimistic heading into the rest of the series.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think hope is lost by any means. Like this Jays team has like looked done and dusted many times this year. Like we look at they like completely collapsed towards the end of the season. Like they needed to win all four of their last four games to win the American League East because the Yankees won out. And the Jays had just blown a huge, it was like a 6-game lead. And they did it, right? Like backs against the wall, they pulled it off. So like, do I believe that they could turn it around in a heartbeat? Absolutely. I think a day off tomorrow is huge for this team. They're probably going to have an optional workout, and I expect that everyone's going to be rested, feeling better, a little bit of a mental reset. And Seattle's a place where they've had some success in the past. They swept there already this season. So I don't know if that kind of thing plays over. I'm honestly not really a believer in that kind of thing. But if we're clinging on to hope, maybe I can be for a couple days here.
Whatever you can cling on to,
Yeah.
you grab onto it. And yeah, I think, even getting away from Toronto, if you want to believe some of that stuff, maybe we're gripping the sticks a little too tight, just playing at home, big crowd, a lot of energy in the city. Get away in Seattle, now it's kind of like the puke play in semi-pro. You're keeled over, you're down 2-0, just go out, play your game in Seattle, and hopefully you get a chance to bring the series back.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't put it past the Jays to put it back. What they're going to need to do, I think, obviously the pitching is going to have to be better, but the offense is like in just as much of need of a jump start. Vlad does not have a hit in the series. Got on base for the first time in his eighth inning walk or ninth inning walk. One of those. The game got ugly. Barger does not have a hit in the series. Varsho does not have a hit in the series. Jays are being out homered 4-1. Like, the guys I named there, Vlad, Barger, Varsho, without hits, that's your 3, 4, and 6 hitter. And if I was going to circle 3 names coming into the series that I wanted to see some stuff out of, it would be Vlad, Barger, and Varsho. Barger and Varsho, your 2 lefties, and the Mariners are running out these righties. And if your left-handed power hitters aren't doing anything for you, I have a really hard time seeing the Jays turning around.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, that crooked number Seattle put up today probably gets in the way of us talking about that. What you just said, those guys need to start hitting. It was pretty apparent to me today, like Vladdy just not being productive at the plate. Um, there's a black hole in the middle of that Toronto lineup right now, and unfortunately, in playoffs, you need results now. These 2 games, those guys haven't contributed anything. And there's no fix for that, right? This isn't pitching where you can cling on to, well, maybe we get 6 innings from Max Scherzer, or maybe Minguez can come in and start being the lockdown guy that we know he is, or whatever it is. Those guys are going to get their 3, 4 at bats in their spot in the lineup. They need to be better. And if it doesn't get better, then yeah, the series doesn't have any chance to go back to Toronto.
Yeah, 1,000%, man. And it's a stark contrast to what we saw against the Yankees. Like they scored 34 runs in 4 games, um, and then they just come out and score 4 runs in 2 games against the Mariners, right? So I think the offense is just as big of a culprit and an issue as the pitching staff. Yeah, where do we go from here? Where do we go from
Yeah,
here?
and I don't know. Like, I don't know if there's a lineup change that you can make that's meaningful, that does anything other than these guys just need to start being a little bit more productive. You're going to need somebody to go win you a ball game in Seattle. So Carly mentioned Clement. Yeah, absolutely. Like, Ernie's a big part of this team, and he hasn't had a great series so far. So, yeah, just need to get guys going. Somebody, John Schneider said it, I think after one of the celebrations they had this year, it's everybody every day. So it's going to have to be somebody tomorrow and the next day and the day after that. And that's how you find guys that your David Freezes that become playoff heroes. These are the moments that you're going to need guys to step up, and it's kind of hard to predict that, or how these things are going to play out. But guys need to play better, and hopefully somebody steps up on the road.
Yeah, absolutely. And we see it. We've seen it all year how contagious it can be when the Jays get into their team approach. They're fouling off a bunch of balls. They're putting balls in play. They're gonna have to put balls in play with a little bit more authority, I think. Like hit them harder, not just get them in play with like terrible low expected batting averages, pop ups, flyouts, like weak groundouts. But we see how contagious that can get at times. And once one guy starts doing it, like a Nathan Lucas or a Miles Straw or an Ernie Clement, or especially a Vlad, like when one of those guys gets going and gets really, really hot, the rest of the team tends to follow suit and step into line. So I think the Jays are very, very capable of getting hot and going on another run, but they're running out of time, down 2-0.
Absolutely. And I mean, I don't think you have to even look too far back. In September, they're struggling a little bit, and Varsho hit that grand slam against Boston and kind of seemed to, I think it was Boston or
Yep.
somebody at the end of the year. And, the offense kind of kickstarted after that. People followed the lead there. And so it just takes one, and somebody just needs to get a big hit early in that Seattle game. And hopefully that offense carries forward. Like, Nathan Luke's been great. He's been getting lots of hits, played a bit dinged up today. I thought he had a good game again today. But just haven't had hits outside of him that has really seemed to just spark a rally. And somebody had mentioned earlier, like the single walk thing's just not working. And it doesn't work when you don't have the power, when you don't have guys putting the ball over the fence. Seattle got runners on base today. They made Toronto pay for that. Yeah, Toronto's just got to find a way to be more productive on offense, because that game felt over after that Polanco home run.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like a 6-3 game in the fifth, it should not feel over. And I guess that's the benefit of being a Seattle Mariners fan, because they have that filthy, filthy bullpen. Like every guy they bring out of there is throwing high 90s, and it's not straight. It's like high 90s sinkers or cutters, and then they like also have a splitter or a nasty slider. Like these dudes are legitimately filthy that they're running out. So I get why it feels over. And I guess to circle back, kind of tie a knot on this game in general, that's why they can pull Gilbert after 3 innings pitched and be fine and feel comfortable. Like probably feel better that their bullpen's in the game. Like, and we're begging Trey Savage for like one more out, please, Trey
Yeah.
Savage, one more out, because we do not want to give the ball to the bullpen. And that's not how playoff baseball is played these days, right?
No, when you're, needing those outs from your
Yeah.
bullpen now in the playoffs more than ever. Yeah, I mean, that margin between what Seattle's bullpen is and what Toronto's is might define this series. They've definitely got more confidence, and or if I was a fan of the Mariners, I have a lot more faith in those guys that coming out than I do with where Toronto is at. Where I feel like, yeah, starting pitching needs to go win them a game or two or three in Seattle.
Yeah, absolutely. I think starting pitching is going to have to be better, and it's going to start with Shane Bieber. Before we get to the pathway to the Jays winning Game 3, I just want to say, like, baseball is a crazy sport, man, because these two games could have easily happened in May or July or anything like that, and we would not lose a lick of sleep. We would, like, just flush it, forget about it. Hey, we lost a 3-game series. Go win the third one tomorrow, right? like, and
Yeah,
it,
and that's got to be the attitude still, right? Is just whatever these two games have happened, put yourself in a hole, absolutely, but just go win the next one, and you'll see where it goes from here. Because it's now a 6 or 7 game series is the way you've got to play it. If you're going to win this series, it's going to be going that distance. So just win tomorrow, and see what the next day brings.
Yeah. So, what's the pathway to the Jays winning Game 3? It's going to be Shane Bieber versus George Kirby. I know we mentioned we need a strong Shane Bieber start, better than what we saw in Yankee Stadium. Like, who's the guy on offense you want to see some more out of?
Yeah, like I think you kind of touched on the guys already, like just the middle of the order, and I mean it's probably just a bit of everyone, right? Like I would like to see Bieber 6 innings. I think that's probably a good goalpost for me for measuring if they're going to win that game or not. And on the other end of it, don't let Kirby get to six. Like really work the starting pitcher. Did well with Gilbert early. Probably got help from Doug Eddings with the second inning there, but just yeah, make Kirby work, make him get you out, and don't give him outs early in the at bat. Um, Try to get into that bullpen because again, this is going to be maybe a 6, 7 game series. You have to win Game 3, but try to get into that bullpen early. Um, and just make Seattle pitching work a little bit. And as I say that, I'm hesitant because they came in all bandaged up already, and they made short work with Toronto these 2 games. So I just have better at bats, and hopefully they'll string something against Kirby, and hopefully Bieber will hold up his end.
Yeah, like playing this Mariners team feels cruel because your reward for knocking out a starting pitcher early is Bizardo, who's coming in throwing high 90s,
It's been
and it's
great.
it's moving 6 to 12 inches across the plate arm side. Like he's filling up the zone with it too. Like he's not even liable to walk guys. Like it could be cruel. Carly has a game 4 question. What are our expectations for Max after not pitching for a month? What do you think?
I mean, hey, it's Max Scherzer. My expectations for him is I'm getting a Max Scherzer playoff start because that's what we signed up for at the start of the year. So, um, and I have to hold him to those expectations because again, as I've kind of been saying, I don't think a 4 inning Max Scherzer start gets us a win in the playoffs. I don't trust the bullpen to get those outs unless we're leaving with a 10-run lead or something like that. So, yeah, and like I don't have any worries about Max Scherzer, right? Like he's Max. He's made a name for himself mostly on this stage of the season too. So, I think he's going to be fired up for the start. I think he's heard a lot of the stuff people have been saying that he's done and such for the last little bit, and he'll be fueled up. And let's hope that he gives a really good start. But I'm confident because I have to be.
Yeah, I think you have to be confident in Max. I think I'm definitely a little bit less bullish than you. I think if he can get you through the order twice, and if the home run he gives up is a solo homer, because he's liable for one, even at T-Mobile Park in Seattle, just a massive park, like huge pitchers park. I think it might not be the most comfortable start we watched this season, but I think he's definitely got what it takes to battle. And he's been pitching in sim games, and in like the intra squad games at Rogers Center when the Jays had the bye. So I'm not really worried about him being not well. Maybe I'm a little bit worried about him being not sharp, but not game ready. Like he'll be built up and ready to go. Like I think um, this is the time of year that you need Max Scherzer, and your back's probably going to be against the wall, either down 3-0 or 2-1. So I think Max Scherzer is that's the spot I want him. That's a guy I want in that spot. Someone who's been there, done that, and hopefully he can be there and do that one more time for us.
Yeah, just need it one more time, and yeah, I'm optimistic. Like Max he's been a favorite of mine for a long, long time, and just really, really want to see him rise to this moment. I think if there's a guy that can do it, it's him. So yeah, I just got to put faith in the starting pitching here, and Max is going to play a big part of that on the road.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so pathway to winning the series. Just walk with me for a second here. Okay. Shane Bieber goes out tomorrow, 5 strong, through the order twice, maybe 2.5 times. Jays get the lead early. They don't lose it. They're not messing around. 6-3 Jays win tomorrow. Or not tomorrow, but Wednesday. Okay. Max Scherzer, game 4. Jays down 2-1 in the series. In Seattle. I'm thinking, yeah, Chris just said it. 12 to 15 outs for Max. 2 or less runs. Maybe 2 solo shots. I'm fine with that. You know
That
what?
would be great.
Yep. Key comes out of the game with the lead. Bullpen looks better. It's straight to Varland, Sir Anthony, Hoffman, just the 3 of them. 2-2 series. Jays win 7-2. Okay. Game 3 or third game in Seattle. Guess who's back on the mound? It's Kevin Gausman.
Nice.
Yeah, vintage Kevin Gausman on the road. I think that splitter is going to play at T-Mobile. Kevin Gausman is also a guy that is liable to give up a homer every now and then, and I think that park will really let him use his fastball and have it play off his splitter. So if you can get to that Kevin Gausman game, I think that game is you're gonna have a real chance to win that. And Kevin Gausman, vintage Kevin Gausman start. I think Jays win that one too. And then we're coming back to the Rogers Center 3-2. That's as far as I could see. But we're up in the series when we're coming back home for game 6, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned that's one thing I kind of had go through my head today too, just a potential Gosman game 5 start. And I think, yeah,
Yeah,
2-2, 3-1, that's gonna make a lot of sense to put him back out there for that. I love it. I'm signed up. I wrote everything you said down, and let's hope that's exactly how it plays out, because that sounds like a pretty good week of baseball ahead if that's how it plays out. Yeah, guys are just gonna have to step up, right, and just need to be a little more sharper on the pitching mound, and guys are just gonna have to come up with some timely hits. And the series isn't over. They can Seattle hasn't blown me away or anything. Um, they're a beatable team, but now you've got to do it for the next 5.
exactly. And that's doable. We've seen the Jays do it all year. The Jays have been the devil magic team all year. Do you have a little bit more left for me? Like, what's left in the tank? Use it or lose it. Now's the time, right? So I
Yeah,
hope.
and we haven't seen it at all these first 2 games. So I think we're gonna have a pretty good indication early in game 3 what fight and mojo this team has left, and if we're gonna get even a 5th game. But yeah, they just need to play a little harder, a little more urgency, and I think we'll see that in game 3. I'm not worried about that part of it with this team.
I think so too. Do you have anything else?
No, man. No, just let's move on to game 3.
Let's move on as fast as possible. Thanks everyone for checking in after the Jays 10-3 loss against the Seattle Mariners. This was Jays Center's live stream. Hope you enjoyed. We will be back after game 3. Hopefully this time talking about a Blue Jays win, making the series 2-1 in Seattle. A little bit of that road magic. All right, Mac. Have a good one.
Yeah, you too, Owen. Thanks, man.